Good afternoon, Lions fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the Coaches Wrap for round 19 against Port Adelaide, proudly brought to you by Vero. This week we're going to have a look at a couple of things. First off, we'll look at one or two things that went well, and then also look at one area of improvement, and I'll answer a couple of questions. Obviously, the weekend was a real disappointing result for everyone involved, including the supporters, but there was something good come out of the week, and that was the performance of Archie Smith in his debut. You'll see the edits here as a ruckman. He had a great influence around the ground. It was a good contest versus Trengove, who's obviously been in some really good form. His follow-up work, his ability to win hit-outs, as you can see here, he had 30 hit-outs on the day. He had 17 contested possessions, which was a tremendous effort for a first gamer, let alone anyone in general. He had 9 clearances and he had 5 tackles, so we thought that he was probably the biggest thing that came out of the game for us, albeit it was a very disappointing loss, 94 points. But we thought Archie held his all here. You can see here when the tap ruck, got 3 centre bounce free kicks for his ruck work, which is something we don't see very often, but obviously there was a bit of a question mark with Steph out of the side as to who would ruck, and we thought it was a great opportunity for Archie to come in and see what he's got. He's had 3 years at the footy club developing, and I think he showed all supporters on the weekend that he's got a great future with his footy club, and just goes to show how much hard work he puts in, and he gets rewarded with a performance like this. And you can see here this mark. Big kick out from the back line, Archie, big jumper mark. That's what he can bring to the table for us. It was a great effort by the young fella to come out and do that in his first game against the odds and considering the result of the game. So well done to the young fella. Just a couple of areas we need to work on, and there's quite a few to come out of the weekend, no doubt, and there's a lot of questions from the supporters. I'll try and answer as many as I can today. The first one revolves around our tackling. One of the questions was, why do we let so many tackles slip? We actually had, as you watch the edits here, 35 missed tackles on the weekend, which is just unacceptable for a football club. So you can see here Mitch Robinson misses a tackle, and the result of missing one tackle can mean the opposition win the ball far too easily and get down to their other end and kick goals. In this one you can see we actually are fortunate enough to win the footy back through Harris Andrews. And again, as the play goes on, I'll let this play because you'll see that we get an opportunity to go inside 50 through Daniel Rich. He gets the ball, drives it in long. But again, if you look at ground level here, you'll see that Port Adelaide outnumber us. Our players are too far off their opposition, so there's not an ability to get a tackle. You see there, Pearce is off his man. So we were off our man just a little bit too much, which allowed them to get down the ground. And again, here you'll see Richie versus Impey for them. Now this should be a tackle for us. Richie should be able to hold this guy in boundary side, push him out of bounds and force a stoppage. But he lets him get around him, and the result is they get a shot on goal. So our tackling on the weekend was really, really poor. It's an area we're focusing on in the last 4 weeks of the season. We've obviously done it all the way through the year, but you can see with this piece of play here as well, Zorko misses a tackle. We miss a tackle there, and it hurts us on the scoreboard. So it's a good question because it's an area where the good sides do it really well, and for us to become a good side we need to improve in this area. So we'll keep working on it over the last 4 weeks, and even leading into next year as a pre-season focus, it'll be a massive one for us. Again here, they win the footy, missed tackle by Dorso. Just that one missed tackle early in the sequence of the play can have a big bearing on the opposition going down the other end and scoring goals. So we do what we call a critical contest chain error, and I think they scored 6 goals from just missed tackles. This one again here, the ball's in dispute. They win the footy. We've got numbers around the contest. Cuts just misses a tackle, lets them get out, and they get a shot on goal. So those early crucial tackles in contests are really critical for us, and we just didn't stick them on the weekend. It wasn't up to AFL standard. It's not good enough. So again, it's an area we'll work on, keep working on, and hopefully we get better in the last 4 weeks. Again here, we're just chasing opponents here. Missed tackle by Squizzy. Again, we win the footy back, see how they tackle and pressure, which allows them to put pressure on us and get the footy back. So the difference between their ability to tackle and force us to turn the footy over and our inability to tackle is adamant in that passage of play right there. So very disappointing result from our tackling perspective on the weekend. And this is the last one you'll see. Ball goes inside 50 for us. We're just laying off our men. Maisie misses a tackle, gets pushed off the footy too easy. They get in chains of handballs, bring it back inside. There's still numbers around the contest, so we should be able to win this back. They win the footy, miss tackle. Again here, 3 guys come in and miss the tackle, and they get a shot on goal. So again, very disappointing part of our game on the weekend, and one which we really need to work on in the last 4 weeks if we're going to have any pressure on the scoreboard. Just a couple of other questions. Oh, sorry, getting back to the tackling here. I've just got a graph here about the last 6 weeks, all our tackling numbers. So you can see I've got here 70% is what we aim for individually as an effective tackling result, which is what the good sides look at. So you can see on the right-hand side there the highlights, the guys who haven't got the efficiency of 70%, and I think it's about 13 players out of 20. You can see the ones that aren't are just over the 70 mark, and I've highlighted Tommy Rockcliffe because he's our number 1 tackling player, and you can see he's right on the 70% border. But what we do from week to week is the guys who don't get that 70%, they go into a special group who have to work on tackling during the week. We have all sorts of categories for our tackles. So, missed tackles, didn't get arms in, etc., etc. But we do look at it each week. And again, as I said earlier, it's an area we need to get better at, and 70% is the pass mark for us, and we don't have anywhere near enough players getting that at the minute. So we'll keep working on it with them for the rest of the year, over the pre-season, and hopefully it's something that we become very good at in the near future. And just a couple of other questions to finish it off. The first one is about our ruckman. Can we play Archie Smith and Steph Martin the same side this week? Well, I think given the performance of Archie that he deserves another game, obviously. Whether Steph's fit or not enough, we'll find out on Thursday at training. He's still carrying a little bit of a knee at the minute, but if he is available, he will come in and we'll definitely play the 2 guys. How that works, we're not too sure, but the question in the past has been asked, should we play just Steph one out? Obviously, we have done that, but I think Archie's performance was good enough that we shouldn't even consider dropping him. So if Steph's right, we'll just have to work out a way how we can ruck both players at this stage. So that'll be one that we just have to wait and see, depending on Steph's availability. And the next one, after seeing the success of Masso, will Benny Keys go into the midfield? Keys has probably played down forward quite a bit for us this year. He had a bit of a role last week on Petard for them and did a great job. But I think whoever asked his question on the money, I think we need to get him around the ball a little bit more this week, whether it's in the midfield or as a winger, and get him amongst it and see what he can do, because one thing he has got is the ability to tackle, which we were talking about earlier, but he can win contested footy. He has got a desire to play in there, and his effort's been outstanding for us. So I think he's earned the right to go in there, and I think we'll play him a bit more there over the last month of the season just to see what he's got and give him a feel for the midfield. So a couple of good questions there. And finally, we've got Adelaide this week. Big test for us going over to Adelaide Oval against a side who are vying for a top 2 position, top 4 position. So they'll come out firing. So it's important for our players to come out with a massive effort, give everything they've got this week, get our pressure up, get our defensive skills up. Hopefully get some inside 50s which are clean and we get some shots on goal. But I think the one thing that you guys want to support is some effort and some ability to win contested ball and really smash into the opposition. So hopefully the boys can provide that for you on Saturday night and we get a better result than they gave us on the weekend.